This was to be my last day in Malta, and I really needed to cheer myself up, so I took a ferry out to the island of Camino, and I found things here very different than on the mainland. In fact, within half an hour I'd seen more birds here than I'd seen all week. They also have a ringing station here, where they trap and ring lots of European migrants. Fabulous birds like golden orioles, hoopoe, nightjar. Today, the people ringing the birds were having a real bonanza. There'd been a storm overnight. Lots of them had pitched down. Some of them were tired and exhausted. Let's hope that they managed to complete their journey to their breeding grounds. We've been here just over a week, and we came because we wanted to make a difference. We've learned a lot, and one of the things that I learned very quickly was that if you like birds, this is a difficult place to be.
Move over there, please.
Listen.
Get off the ship.
Frankly, I despair at the Maltese government's attitude to this issue. They've successively given the hunters more time and more space for their slaughter, and they pretend that illegal hunting simply doesn't take place. Well, that's a lie, a simple lie, because this week these hands have been covered in the blood of illegally shot birds. We've seen shot turtle doves, a swift, a little bittern, a yellow-legged gull, and saddest of all, the Montagu's harrier, which I had to help euthanise. The policing simply isn't working. Whilst some of them are very polite and amenable, others clearly have affiliations with the hunting fraternity. This week, BirdLife Malta's press officer, Rupert Macefield, was arrested, yet the hunter that we'd filmed on camera with good evidence is still at large. It's unbelievable. Within hours of recording this, I too was on my way to a Maltese police station. I've been asked to attend the Maltese police HQ here for questioning. So I've duly turned up, of course. I've no idea why. I don't know whether I'm going to be arrested or charged with anything. I don't think that I've done anything illegal all week. The paradox is, of course, that I've seen other people, hunters, doing illegal things every day, shooting birds that they shouldn't. I'm really disappointed there's not a long queue of hunters here who are waiting to be charged, having shot those birds. But I'll find out what it's about. 4 3/4 hours, I think. I was taken in voluntarily. I went voluntarily. I was searched and I had my phone taken away, and I then was interviewed by 2 police officers, Inspector Vella and Maria Tonner, and they initially were going to arrest me so that I would have to make a statement under caution. They reconsidered and offered me the opportunity to make a voluntary statement. I spoke to Mr. Raganese on the telephone, and he advised me that I could make a voluntary statement and there was no need to sign it. So that's what I've been doing subsequent to that. And the reason why I was called in was because the FKNK, the hunting lobby here, have raised a complaint through their lawyers, which means that the police are obliged to investigate it, accusing me of defamation of their members and also transgressions of data protection. So the police were advised that they had to look into that. They asked me lots of questions about a great many things, and do you know what, strangely, I've come out a bit more positive than I went in, because I got the impression that the officers that I was speaking to knew in their post. Well, I can tell you they were a bit upset that in some ways we'd misrepresented the police. And I think that this is because they're new and they want to make a good job, and they were hoping that the police would be better reflected in our films. And I also think, maybe naively or optimistically, and maybe I'm tired again, that this might be an opportunity to start working with them more closely in the future so that we could get more successful prosecutions of illegal hunting. Got to try and take something positive out of this. In Malta, it's not just illegal hunters shooting birds that the police have to contend with. There's also a huge illegal trapping situation too. We received a call from the Committee Against Bird Slaughter about just such a case. Axel, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Yeah. But not good news, you found a mistnet with dead birds.
Yes, there's a mistnet just behind us in the woods, and yes, we found it and we called the police, and now we're going to, they're going to confiscate the net.
Is it in private or public land?
No, this is public land. It's a public woodland. There are many campers, close to the net, and yeah, that's why we can go there.
Okay, let's go and have a look then.
Okay.
Okay, a farmhouse which is close by, and there is
Is someone using it or taking a break from it or something?
No. We need 5-10 minutes.
We're following Axel and these police officers deep into this woodland. It is a public area, there are people camping here, but it's also an area that's used by hunters and trappers. I've just overheard Axel saying that there are a couple of aviaries nearby, one of which is filled full of thrushes to act as decoys to bring the birds in.
50 meters long. It's like in the same ones we usually find in Cyprus, huh? So, and there's a dead bird. And
There's the skull of the bird there. Looks like a robin. But this is a trap which obviously stands up to lift this mist net up. And a mist net, if you don't know, is a very fine net which birds can't see as they're moving through trees and vegetation like this. They're used by ringers to catch birds, legally of course, to put rings on so we can learn about their migratory habits. But here it's being used to trap birds. It's not just shooting here. Trapping is still widespread all over Malta. Can I ask you guys, what will happen now that you've confiscated the net? What will be the next course of action?
You need to make a police report and you can make some inspections
Back here?
back here, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe we catch someone trying to make another net, maybe.
Yeah. Since I've been here, it's fair to say that I've felt frustrated, depressed, sad and angry. But I've also been tremendously inspired. I've been inspired by some of the people that I've met. People like Joe Sultana. He's been campaigning here since 1962. He's lived in fear of his life, under police protection. And most remarkably of all, he has a balcony from which he has a phenomenal view. A view where sometimes he sees beautiful birds being shot, but he's not giving up. Joe Sultana is determined to win, and he's not the only one. Ray Vella has been shot himself twice. He's had his farm burned down. They cut down all the trees on his nature reserve, and yet this man is still going strong. Reedy Kovacs has perhaps the most miserable job of all. She has to euthanize hundreds of shot birds every year, and yet she carries on. Annalise Falson has had to cancel walks or walk between the guns in the national park where she works. Kathleen Momer, she educates and enthuses the youth of tomorrow's Malta, what could be more important. And Moira Delia bravely uses her public profile to campaign for all animal rights and against spring hunting. I've got nothing but profound admiration for these people. They're fighting in an arena of extreme adversity and they're not giving up. They're determined to win, and that's amazing. A lot of people that have been looking at our blogs are understandably very upset, very angry at what's going on here. And I know through Twitter, many have suggested that the answer to this problem is to boycott Malta, to not come here as a tourist. Well, that's not what we're saying at all. We're saying please come to Malta, because you won't hurt the hunters by staying away. You'll hurt the vast majority of warm, friendly, hospitable Maltese people, the people that we want on our side. So the best thing to do is to come, express the way you feel about the spring hunting issue, to try and get them to change their mind. Basically, to come here and be an ambassador for these birds. It's time to say thanks. Firstly, to all the staff at BirdLife Malta for all of their advice, their help and their support. And especially to Nimrod Mifsud, who's been with us every single day, working really, really hard. But most of all, Luke, Jez, Ruth and myself would like to thank you. Everyone who's watched the blogs, and particularly those people who have done something, written to their members of the European Parliament or made a donation to BirdLife Malta. Thank you. It's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. What a great way to end our time here in Malta with a live bird rather than an injured or a dead one, and a beautiful one at that, and one which could be on its way back to the UK, this nightjar. Simply stunning. If we want more live birds to be flying off of Malta in our springtime, we've got to do something about it, and you can make a difference. Go to the website chrispackham.co.uk. Take the opportunity to write to your MEP and ask them why the European Commission are doing nothing about the slaughter of birds on Malta. And if you can afford it, please donate to BirdLife Malta. It will make a difference, maybe for the birds in your backyard. Right, come on. I'm just going to put this bird down here.